Hey trainers and welcome back. Today we are going to be diving back into the same team with Tapu Fini lead with the Shadow Venusaur sweeper and the Gligar in the middle. This team was working amazing for me after, there was a lot of negatives in the beginning, but now that I've managed to figure out the play with the team, I've been doing a lot better with it. I managed to on stream yesterday climb 180 points, almost into expert, and I'd like to share some of those battles with you. First match, we're going to come into a Greninja lead, and this is not a good matchup for Tapu Fini. It takes 3 Water Shurikens to get to every Hydro, and 3 to alternating to the Night Slashes, and they need 2 Hydros and a Night Slash to take us out. So I don't hate them throwing the Night Slash first to attempt the boost, but this trainer just goes straight for Night Slash, which, gives us a chance to build up a lot of energy. This is silly, we should not be throwing straight Moonblast. They 100% of the time shield this. And even if they no shield or surf, that's valuable chip damage. So they keep throwing Night Slashes, and they're going to throw immediately before we get to the next, before we can make it to surf. And this is fine, right? We've got a shield advantage. We're going to bring in Venusaur here. And they're going to bring in a Medicham. So Medicham pays 665 to the Ice Punches, 5 to every puppet, 8 to Psychic. So we land that Frenzy, so we're going to just dip out here, catch the Ice Punch on Gligar. Does 50% to Gligar, does the same to Venusaur, Shadow Venusaur, and we're going to be able to farm them down just before they make it to another one. They bring back in the Greninja, we're going to throw in 1 for good timing, and they're going to shield this, which is amazing. I don't care about Gligar anymore. Our answer for this is Venusaur, and overfarm a little bit. We're going to come in and farm this down. Obviously we'll shield, even the Night Slash here is going to do a lot. Greninja is such a monster. And let's see, they have a Registeel in the back. And you would think this is a bad matchup, but with shields, this is actually not bad at all. You resist everything except Flash Cannon, obviously, but Frenzy Plant does about 30% to a Registeel, and Focus Blast and Zap Cannon both do exactly the same, which is 47% to Venusaur, which is interesting in fashion. They get the debuff, but it doesn't even matter. With this, Frenzy Plant is going to KO, and we're going to be able to farm down the Greninja before they make another move. So GG's trainer. Carbink lead. I play this so badly, but our whole team beats Carbink, right? But this is basically Bastion, so I should be assuming that there's a Shadow Vic in the back. So I go in and try and catch a Rock Slide on my Gligar. They don't throw, they build up and throw the Moonblast, and they're staying in here, which is obvious because they're double weak to Gligar in the back. So we're basically sacking Gligar, which is so stupid, and now we're going to throw this Aerial Ace on CMP, which is also a mistake because this is just less farm for a Tapu Fini, right? There's no ways they're shielding this. So yeah, they're going to take us out of the rock side. We're only going to get like 2 or 3 water guns here to take them out, and they're going to bring in the Shadow Vic, and this is just going to be absolute nightmare, right? There's no ways we're coming back from this. They've got 2 shields. They bring in the Medi. They're going to, an Ice Punch does like 50% here. We have to shield this because our only thing, and they bait us, and this is horrible. They also end up no shielding this, which is savage by them because they still are going to end up getting to an Ice Punch, which is the absolute worst case for us. Now we have no shields, they have 2 shields, and yeah, there's no ways we're making 3 moves against Shadow Vic. Double resisted, Razor Leafs, doesn't matter. They're still going to be able to farm us down before we make it to a 3rd. We bait, not that it matters. They're obviously shielding everything here because Moonblast from Tapu Fini's barely does 50%, right? So there's no ways, even if we won CMP, that we'd win this game. So yeah, I should have played that better or just stayed in. Anyways, next battle, Sandslash lead. They pay 665 to the draw runs and 5 to every Ice Punch, and you win the zeros here, right? Because you survive 2 draw runs and they do not survive 2 surfs. So the surf does 43% to the non-shadow and about 43% to the shadow, 35% to the non-shadow, and it does the same back. So this is super risky, but we're going to try and catch a draw run on our Gligar. It's also silly, we don't need to pull out the Azure, right? We know that there's something behind A-Slash to cover its fire and fighting weakness, and Azure just pairs so well with that. So again, we're kind of just sacking our Gligar here for no reason. we throw on CMP, which is great, and now I know they're 2 bubbles off the next Ice Beam. So I'm going to come in with Venu and catch the Ice Beam on Tapu Fini. At least that's the play, but you see we get 1 turn lag on the bring in there, it doesn't let us swap out, and now we have to shield this, and this should be a great situation we're in, but now we're shield down, we've got a lot of energy and they have a Mandibuzz here, so even with that shield, maybe we don't win. Mandy's, I mean, it's not a hard wall, but with the air slash, these air slashes do so much. They do like 8% of slash. It's crazy. Venusaur is very squishy. We end up baiting there, and they no shield like a mad lad. And you know, maybe our win con was not baiting there and hoping they no shield. But yeah, we're gonna have to farm everything down because there's no way we're getting to 3 moves. They get to the Ice Punch here, and that would easily KO our tiny low health Tapu Fini, and they've got air slash, so they're going to be able to farm us down. So well played, trainer. Next up, Galvantula lead, another really bad lead. Now I'm going to swap obviously straight into Gligar. Galvantula is paces 3 to lunge and discharge, and 4 to energy ball, so they're going to debuff us before they depart, but we have a lot of energy here, so we're just going to unload all of these aerial aces into this medi. We get to the second one, and now what's really great for us is they lose track of our energy, and they're going to try and throw one before, but we were 1 ahead, and so we make it on the CMP, which is IV dependent, so we're quite lucky to win that, and we get a shield advantage, and this is amazing, right? This is all we care about. And I mean, even if we shielded that, they were 2 off the next Ice Punch, so we'd have to double shield, and that's not what we want. We're going to eat the Psychic, does about 50%, and that's fine, right? Our win condition is Venusaur upper shield, so we're going to see what they bring in. They bring back in the Golf. I want to get the Surf off to take the shield and do some decent chip damage, but it gives them quite a lot of farm, which might be a mistake. They're going to debuff us before they leave this matchup. So they lunge us, we have to shield this, and we're going to see what's in the back. I think they try and catch a Sludge Bomb on Bastiodon, but we're not falling for that. We won't, I mean, a Frenzy Plant takes out there anyways, right? So they bring in Basti at 7 to every Flamethrower or Stone Edge, and we are just going to try and come out of this with enough energy, because their Gulv is 1 Volt Switch away from a move. So we either need to come out of this with the shield or with the second move, and we are rather just going to farm up to the back-to-back here, which is probably quite risky. Maybe I should have done it the other way around, but we get to the back-to-back, and we're going to throw it into this Venus Gulv, and it's easily going to take out. GG's trainer. Next up, Tapu into Jellicent. Okay, so this, we obviously need to stay in. Yeah, Gligar saying this would be absolutely horrific. They outpace us. It's 5-5-4 to the Shadow Balls and 4-3-3 to the Surfs, and yeah, Shadow Ball does a substantial amount. So we are going to not bait. It's so risky to bait, but a lot of the Jellicents I faced did shield that, and then it becomes scary, because then, you know, you are going to have to shield the Venusaur when you bring it in. But they no shielded, which is amazing. They end up throwing the Surf here, which takes us out, and now we're going to be able to farm down with anything. I think the energy is a bit more valuable on the Venusaur, so we're going to farm down here and see what they have in the back. It's a Charger Bug, so this pace is 3-2 alternating to the X-Scissors, and 3 to every Crunch or Discharge, and we're just going to throw the Sludge Bomb. It was about 60%, and then we're going to bring in our Gligar. I don't want to eat an X-Scissor or even shield it, right? We don't know what's in the back, so I'd rather come in and see, and it's their own Gligar. They end up throwing an X-Scissor, which makes absolutely no sense, and they bring in their own Shadow Gligar. We have a lot of energy here, and the plan is to either take this out or get both shields, right? Because I know Venu has 2, so we're 4 off on Venusaur. So if I can get to a Frenzy Plant, it's going to do absolutely huge amount of damage. I know that I can't shield. I mean, I have to shield this, right? Because they have too much HP and a shield that they're just going to wing attack us all the way down. So I'm going to shield this. I mean, thrown anywhere else, they shield. I know they fall off, so we can come in here and get to it on the CMP, and there's just no ways that their little Spooder is going to get to 2 moves. So we outpace them. I think that this Frenzy Plant is going to do 5% to a little charge a bug, and it does. GG's. Next up, let's see. Deoxys lead. I played this. 19 out of 20 of these Deoxyses throw their Thunderbolt immediately. So I'm just going to try and catch it on the Gligar. Because if you eat that, it does like 75% to a Tapu Fini, and that's just too much. So we're going to catch it, resist it. They're going to stay in and throw a Psycho Boost, and this is amazing for us. It doesn't do that much damage, and look how much energy we have now, right? They're going to bring in a double, so we don't really care where we see this. It doesn't do too well, and a double is going to pace 3 to every Body Slam, and 4 to every Wild Charge, and 5 to every Payback. So we are barely going to get to the dig, but we don't because we lag or we get a frame drop, and that is just terrible. So they're going to, hopefully this is just a Body Slam, and it is. And now I'm going to throw just before they get to the next one, and they shield, which is very strange in my opinion. They're going to get this Body Slam. It's not even going to KO, so we're fine. I'm going to eat this and then take them out with a Surf. And we now have a shield advantage for Venusaur, and we are in a great spot. So we're going to come in and see what they have in the back. They bring back in the Deoxys. It was dry, so we throw 5, hoping to CMP. They don't fall for it, and they're going to throw shield this and swap out into Digger Speed. So we know they have a move on their Deoxys. They only did 5, so I know this is a 5 punch, but it's going to do a lot. Now I thought it was 5-4, like Mud Shot, but it's 5-5. So we try and throw in CMP, but we throw one before. It doesn't matter. They have no shields. We're going to get to this Frenzy Plant before they get to 2 and easily take them out. GG's trainer. Another Deoxys lead. We're going to play this the same. We're going to farm up to 8 and try and catch it on the Gligar. They end up throwing. Now, as the Deoxys, this is better. Swap out immediately. Don't give me 5 wing attacks advantage to throw a Psycho Boost. It makes no sense. They've got a hard answer, but they end up shielding a dig, which is amazing, right? So we've got our shield advantage. They end up throwing energy as well. This is amazing. Now, we come in with our Tapu Fini. We're going to try and throw the Surf right before they get to the Psyshock. And we end up throwing the Moon Blast. And this is a mistake. Definitely throw a Surf. Surf would probably even take out here, right? But they shielded, and I'm saving shields for Venusaur. They end up baiting, which it doesn't even matter. Now I'm going to try and farm down. If they get to a move, I'll shield, but they don't, and this is amazing. We have a ton of energy, 2 shields. I don't know if there's anything, unless it's like a Skarmory in the back that can take us out. So they left dry. So I'm going to throw after 4, which ends up being a mistake. If I threw 5 and CMP, that would have taken them out. Now I have to give up a shield, but it doesn't matter. We have a ton of energy and a shield. Licky Tongue comes in. This Frenzy Plant does 49% to a Licky Tongue, so we just need 2. And Licky Tongue paces, 12, 12, 11 turns, which in Vine Whips is 6, 6, 5.5. So they're not even going to make 1 move, let alone 2. And 17 to Power Whip, for interest sake. They safe swap of Lantern, which is not a safe swap. And yeah, they get punished hard for it. Now, I'm not sure if this is the same trainer as earlier, because he has the same clothes, but I'm going to do the same thing I always do and try and catch it on the Gligar, but I think they've wised up. But even if they don't throw, right, this energy doesn't really go anywhere into Gligar, so we're hoping they throw, and they do. And they bring in Sand Slash. And now, this is probably a mistake. I'm pretty sure I'll get the shield back because I threw on CMP, so it doesn't look like I'm trying to bait them. But I'm not getting anything out of this matchup now. We both gave a shield. They still outpaced me to the next, and this is going to take me out. Now their Deoxys still has a lot of energy, which is really scary for Venusaur and Tapu for that fact. So I'm going to farm up right before they get to the draw run. They're going to throw the draw run, and let's see here. I think I can farm down just before they get to the Ice Punch. They know it, so they swap out into Deoxys, and I've got 2 Surfs here. So I'm not going to throw... Yeah, I'd rather throw 2 Surfs than a Moonblast. Deoxys paces 5 to every Psycho Boost, 8 to the Thunderbolt, 7, 6 to the Rock Slides. And they make a savage bait here, and I'm not able to farm down in time. I probably should have called this. They had so much energy, and throwing a Psycho Boost is quite risky there. And yeah, I mean, we just have no HP left on anything, and they're going to bring in an Umbreon, and it is absolutely overs. I should just top left at this point, but yeah, we're gonna waste everyone's time. Next match, Umbreon. So this is a good lead, obviously. They're going to bring in a Venusaur, and we're going to bring in a Gligar, right? This is not a bad matchup for Gligar. We kind of have to shield the Frenzy Plant, but they have to shield Aerial Ace. So it's 665 for Venusaur and 555 for us. So unless they got 2 Vine Whips, which they might have, I should outpace them to the third one. But I'm going to make a critical mistake here. Instead of throwing my move, I'm going to attempt to farm down, and they live on 1 HP, and that is just so savage. I've basically thrown this game now, right? We had 10 air slashes worth of energy and a full half HP Gligar that we just sent straight into the trash can. They're going to bring in Deoxys, and I'm going to try and make a play to salvage this game from absolute shambles and catch this Thunderbolt, which is amazing. They're going to bring back in their Umbreon. Now, Foul Play does about 40% to a Venusaur, and this Frenzy Plant does exactly the same back. So it's not a bad matchup for Venusaur by any means, but it's not amazing. So this is going to put us really low, and they understand that Deoxys is their win con, so they're not even going to shield this. It would just be, you know, farm for our Tapu, and yeah. So if we can bait and get to a Moonblast, we win CMP. It would be doing enough. And do we get there? We 1 turn shy, which is heartbreaking. So well played to our opponent. Absolutely molding after that stupid loss by myself. Frostlass lead, this is great. They pay 665 to the Avalanches, 7 to every Shadow Ball, and they're going to try and catch a Surf, which is fine. I'm going to throw a Surf anyways here, right? Because I want some chip on this before I go into Gligar. They're going to shield, assuming I was going to Moonblast, which is amazing. So we've got our shield advantage. There's no ways I'm shielding anything except Veno at this point in time. And yeah, they got a lot of energy. It doesn't matter, these body slams don't do much. I'm going to just throw Digs. If you're in a neutral matchup, Dig is more energy efficient, so that's what you want to be throwing. And I say neutral, if both moves hit the same, super effective. And now this is a mistake. I end up throwing this Aerial Ace, which takes them out, and this is just free farm for their Frostlass, right? I should actually try and lose that matchup. Their Frostlass comes in and farms me down, and now obviously Venusaur doesn't want to see this. I'm going to shield this because this Shadow Ball would just about take me out, but they bait me, which is kind of savage. And then they catch the Surf on their Obstagoon, which is an amazing catch by them. So I know that I need to come. My win con now is, I mean, Obstagoon's not going to do any damage here unless they farm up to 11, but we need to get a Moonblast for the Frostlass, and I need to come out of this match with a Frenzy Plant. I know they're not at the back-to-back yet, so our 1 shield will be fine. They end up getting to another move here, which is kind of perfect, right? This is less farm for the Frostlass. They come in. This is 100% taking the shield. This is about 78% to a Frostlass, so they definitely have to shield that. And we overfarm for absolutely no reason, and we throw the Moonblast. I think this is easily taking out the Frostlass, and yeah, very well played. GG's. A9 lead, and I needed to put at least one of these in because this is such a clunky matchup, and you'll see if you don't throw in perfect timing like this, I let in sneak in a charm, you don't make a second move. And so I should know that and swap out right here. But the fact is, I just let them farm me all the way down, don't get to that move, and now whatever I bring in, I'm going to have to double shield if I want it to survive. So I think the energy is a bit more valuable on Venusaur, so I'm going to double shield Venusaur and pray it can sweep. Hello? So I'm going to bring in Venusaur and pray it can sweep. And it's an A-slash in the back, and this is just overs, right? Frenzy Plant only does about 43%. 37% to a non-shadow, 44% to the shadow, and the Ice Punch does about 50%, 64%. So 50% from a non-shadow and 64% from a shadow, and they're outpacing us here, right? There's almost nothing we can beat on the HP that this is going to leave us on, except if it was maybe I don't know, a Magikarp, but they bring in a Medicham, and the 2 Arrows is not going to be enough to go. Even if it was, we still had to come out of this matchup with the dig for the A/slash. So yeah, absolutely depressing the way I played that matchup. But I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you, trainers.